Well, good day, ladies and gentlemen. How the hell are you all doing today? I hope you're all doing well, and I hope you're staying nice and toasty fucking warm on this late January. I am Johnny Nocash, and you are listening to a brand new episode of Life with Johnny Nocash. If this is your first time tuning in, I gotta say welcome and thanks for tuning in. But this is a podcast as well as a video podcast discussing the ins and outs of van lifestyle, life on the road, life off the grid from my perspective, as well as being a starving artist. And that being said, from the amount of questions I get regarding this topic, I figured now would be a really good time to talk about it. And that is, does Johnny Nocash actually have no cash from his artistic content? This is a fucking great question. I'm going to be brutally candid and honest with you straight up about some of the ins and outs of making any kind of income regarding my creative content, because that is something that I really enjoy. It's my passion. And is it paying the bills? Because I know a lot of you folks are also creators yourselves, and you're wondering, should I start this now? Should I give up and just start flipping burgers full time, or should I really give it a go? Great question, and we're going to talk about that here today. But before we do, once again, I just got to say, you guys fucking rock. That last episode clearly struck a chord with a number of you guys, and it's so overwhelming when the conversation starts and I'm starting to get messages regarding it that it really helped make their day, or it kind of solidified their own thoughts and beliefs. That just means the world to me. Now, I don't want to necessarily be getting into that kind of personal rants too often, mainly because I do think that this channel should be more directed towards the artistic, off-the-grid, nomadic lifestyle kind of stuff. So if I see fit, I will definitely upload an opinion of mine of what the fucking world state is, and we'll go from there. But overall, thank you guys so much. It means the world to me. So without further ado, let's talk about the cash in Johnny Nocash. All right, so here we go. So I am currently, and I'm sure if you are watching this wondering, where the fuck are you, man? I'm actually in a makeshift art studio in Machosen at my friend's studio, Huber Studios. She was so nice to loan me the studio once again for 2 days. And I gotta say, it is so liberating having the space, like having my guitar just propped up against the wall, being able to eat in between guitar takes, which I can't do in the van because there's just not enough room. It just becomes such a clutterfuck. And it is so nice to be able to have this space. So it's really nice of her to loan me it. And that is why, if you look in the background, it doesn't look anything like my van. But it's also been really nice to be back doing van life. It was great to see my family and my friends and catch up with them and see how they're doing, see what they've been up to. But coming back to the island in the van and starting the old routine again, man, I love it. I mean, to each their own, but I'm really enjoying this lifestyle, and I'm just hoping that once it starts getting warmer, that I can start exploring a bit more. But on to today's topic, because it is a really important one. I'd say the majority of my friends and family are artists, and a lot of people in the last couple of years have been hanging it up, meaning they've hung up the paintbrush, hung up the guitar. They said, fuck it. There's no point in me investing any more money into this because I'm not seeing any return or any kind of like tangible value. Nobody's seeing my content. I'm uploading something and it's only getting, a few dozen clicks or something like that. And it can be extremely discouraging. Now, that aside, we also want to talk about some of the financial aspects. This is a really important one. I get it all the fucking time. Like, hey man, you're clearly not broke because you're putting fucking money in your van and things like that. Well, that's different from some of the money that I do make from my content. And I want to talk about that because this is something that you guys can probably relate to, in the sense of, should you pursue your passion? Should you invest more and more money into this type of thing? And it's not an easy answer, but I'm going to break it down to you. I'm going to break down kind of what I make, and what I put into it, so you can kind of assess on, whether this is a career move for you or not. And I will say that I understand that a lot of you folks aren't musicians, but you have other artistic mediums that you work in. And I'm going to touch on that as well, because I don't want this to be solely about for musicians by musicians. I really want to kind of broaden this entire episode so everybody can get something out of this. But firstly, I will talk about the music side of things. Like music, a lot of people take music for granted these days. It's only $10 and you get fucking endless albums on repeat for a full month. You can download the shit and you have access to rare albums, fucking live albums, stuff that normally would have cost $50-$60 at a CD store, 15 years ago. Now, the thing is Spotify has its ups and downs. I mean, it's good that people can kind of come across it, but God damn it, man, back when we were tape trading, I was coming across more fucking artists then than I am now. So I think that's kind of a bullshit lie when it comes to, Spotify exposes me to new shit. I don't know about that. I really don't. Also, Spotify only pays their artists 0.003 cents per stream. So you need 3 streams to make a penny. It doesn't add up. It really doesn't. I mean, and not only that, but not many people are going out these days. Of course, given, the world's condition and what's going on, nobody's going out to live shows. Nobody's supporting paying $10 for a night out and then maybe $10 for a CD for the artist that night. Nobody's doing that anymore. So a lot of artists such as myself that are kind of underground, under the radar, are having a really hard time kind of making it worthwhile. And the reason that I'm saying that is to create music is free outside of buying the instrument, of course, but to produce music, it's expensive. Like, let's put it in a quick perspective. The song Burned Alive, to make any kind of money back, we had to invest $2,600. It was $1,000 to record it. It was $600 to do the music video, which you make nothing off of. You make nothing off of YouTube clicks. And then, of course, in order for anybody to even buy the fucking song or to suggest that it's worth buying the song, we had to invest $1,000 in merchandise for specialized t-shirts. That's $2,600 for one song. It's been streamed, I don't know, almost 20,000 times on Spotify. That's, 40 fucking bucks or some shit. Nothing much. But to be candid about the sales, like the tangible Bandcamp sales, I think we made about $1,200 from that one song. And it sounds really good when somebody's like, how much money did you make from that song? And I say $1,200. They're like, fuck, man, keep on making songs like that. And you'll make some money. Well, little do they know that there's $1,400 that it still isn't accounted for. Also some backlog merch that doesn't get sold. We're sitting on that. So when it comes down to being a musician in today's rapid changing society, it is very fucking difficult. My biggest angle, and my biggest quote unquote, and I'm putting this in air quotes, talent is live interactive performance. That is what I'm good at. And that's something that I really enjoy as well. I love making a live concert feel intimate, everybody inclusive, everyone feel like this is an experience that you won't get anywhere else. Unlike Spotify, everyone's listening to the same song and they're getting the same experience. So without live shows, I can actually kind of persuade people to buy merch when I'm playing a live show because of the interaction that I have with the crowd. And I make it seem like this is personal. And a lot of times the merch booth would have a lineup. And that would be, quote unquote, again, a successful night. These days, when you're relying on digital sales, and digital downloads and things like that. Like I might come out with some music once a year. Whereas playing shows, you're playing 30, 40 fucking gigs a year, and you're easily kind of now balancing out the investment to, the revenue. And that makes a lot more sense. Whereas these days, how much money do you really, especially if you're broke, do you have the money to invest in, CD pressing, mixing, mastering, merch, as well as promotion? Do you want to pay like a publicist to actually get this out there and get it to more ears? Man, it's a fucking nightmare. And not just that, but the saddest thing is the poorest people, their voices are heard the least. They don't have the resources to be able to have their voice heard. And that's the saddest thing, is the only people we're exposed to is fucking rich assholes to begin with. They have the money to fucking make sure that when you scroll down Instagram, that's the thing you see. I don't have that kind of money. I don't have the kind of money to be investing into like these online big ad campaigns and shit. Because if I invest a couple $100 in this and I get zero back, that's literally like pissing, a week's worth of gas out the fucking window. And that's the real sad thing. So, but I don't want to discourage you. So hear me out. You must really want to do this. You really want to do it. If you enjoy playing music and you enjoy the investment, because life is an investment. You buy a nice jacket. Why? Do you get anything out of it? No, not really. It keeps you dry. It keeps you fucking warm. But you bought the nice jacket to kind of like make you feel good, right? So if you want to feel good about people maybe checking out your tunes and exposure, you might want to invest a little bit more of your money into that kind of marketing process. On the other hand, some people just want to do it as a hobby, and that's totally cool too. But if that is the case, this is not the day and age to be bitching about nobody hearing your shit, because you're not playing shows. You're not selling tangible CDs to the person sitting at the bar who's shit-faced and now is up and dancing to your shit, right? So it's a real gamble, and I highly, highly suggest you really assess what you want out of it. Now, I'm going to get off of music slightly here by saying this podcast has actually helped me immensely. First of all, I have content coming out once a week. Unlike with music, I'm coming out with something, once a fucking year. And if that, right? So with the podcast, it's been really nice to constantly keep, promoting my brand and my music and myself, while talking about some interesting brand new topics, which is life on the fucking road and like nomadic life and what I do for food and how long do I stay off the grid and how do I cope with being alone and things like that. So I've able to find a new way to be expressive and be creative, as well as make a little bit of revenue for next to nothing. Now, at the same time, when I upload a podcast, I have to pay for you guys to hear this. $15 a month in order for this to be on Spotify and streaming platforms. That's something I have to invest in order for you guys to even listen to it. If I make any kind of money whatsoever from this particular content, it really does come from Buy Me a Coffee. And oddly enough, I've made enough money from Buy Me a Coffee from you guys to pay my car insurance for the next 3 months. That's fucking incredible. And thanks. God damn it. Like, I really do want to say thank you so much for the support. Now I know not only that you guys like the content enough that you're willing to support me, but it kind of shows that there's light at the end of the tunnel, and that if I continue to do this, that it's more likely that I can maybe make enough revenue to have it as a part-time job outside of music. Music, on the other hand, has been very difficult, and I'm sure a lot of musicians that are listening to this right now can agree with me wholeheartedly. The amount of money and effort and time and blood, sweat, and tears that they put into their craft, and they're just not seeing the return that they would like. And I'm not saying financial return, but just like people listening to it, people sharing it, people messaging them and saying, fuck, man, your tunes really struck a chord. And I got to mention something very important too, because not all you are fucking musicians here, is like painting. I have a friend down in the United States. Now, what she does, this is genius shit. So if you are a painter, listen to this shit. What she does is every single day is she offers a painting. 365 days she has content that is available. And whether you buy it today, tomorrow, or a week, or 4 weeks from now, it doesn't matter. It's always there. And I just think not only is she being able to kind of showcase her life and her lifestyle and things like that, but she's also able to every single day pump her creative craft as well as maybe make a couple bucks on the side. Man, that is good shit. I mean, here I am once a week. I'm putting content out where people can support me, but she's doing 7 times a week. She's reminding people that, you know, this is a business. And I really want to, you know, continue to grow this as a business. And it's genius, fucking genius, man. I should have got into watercoloring. But I mean, this is something to consider. If you're into sculpting or something like that, do a time lapse of your process and use these types of things to show people just how much fucking work is put into this. Because a lot of people take art and the artists themselves for granted. They just think it comes out of thin air. It doesn't. And I'm sure most of you guys know that. But with these major fucking platform giants like Spotify just robbing us blind, it's been really difficult to kind of make it make sense on why we do this. But yeah, I really just have to love doing it. Because I mean, it's the only thing that really makes me happy. And to be honest, if I could live on fucking cans of food and just a gallon of gas a week doing creative content, I'd choose that over sitting in a fucking office in a goddamn cubicle any day making 10 times that. As you've heard in previous episodes, I've never fucking been happier. And if I could make, being a creator more tangible as a living, I would love that. But to come down to what I was discussing earlier, like what I make being an artist. So far, and this is some good news. This is some good news. So far, and I'm going to be brutally honest, this could really fuck me over, but I want to be honest with you guys because fuck, man, there's just too many people are keeping things from each other. So far with my podcast and the Buy Me the Coffee donation thing, I've made almost $500. $500. That's from people buying me beer. And of course, sometimes I spend it on beer, but also I'm using that for my insurance as well. And that's a lot of money, man. Like, I'm fucking shocked, to be perfectly honest, at that kind of revenue. Now, my music, on the other hand, I could make thousands of dollars off it, but the investment in it is much, much higher and the return is much, much lower. So it's very difficult to, justify it. However, I fucking love music and it doesn't matter what the cost because I'm going to fucking do it. And even if I have to take some of that Buy Me a Coffee money and invest it into my music, so fucking be it. That's the way it is. I love my fan base. You guys are solid as all hell. And the support is just absolutely overwhelming. So it just seems fit that I may as well continue investing in what I believe in. And that is the arts. Because, if we started dropping off and hanging up the guitars and hanging up, the paintbrushes, we're not going to have anything to look at anymore. We're not going to have anything to listen to anymore. And we're all just going to be stuck watching and listening to generic shit made by a bunch of rich assholes that don't give a fuck. They're just going to be putting on whatever couple notes are the big buzz that week and the main buzzwords that week. Let's just throw it all in a fucking blender, hit go, and regurgitate it out. So I personally don't mind taking a hit in my craft and my finances to make sure that I'm being creative and that I can express myself properly as an independent artist. Because I'll tell you right now, if somebody was to try and pick me up, they would definitely tell me to stop swearing as much. Don't be so negative. Don't be so aggressive, And as much as I'd like to expand more. That just comes out most of the time quite naturally. But guys, this is something that you just got to take into consideration. Do you have the money to invest in your craft? It's not like it was, 20 years ago. It's not the same fucking world. Do you have the money to do that? If you do, I'd say go for it. And if you don't, I'd still say go for it. The thing is that you just never know. But whatever you do, don't fucking beat yourself up if you don't have the money to invest in your craft and to get the views and the clicks that you think you deserve. Because God damn it, man, everyone's struggling. Everyone's really struggling. And if you think that you're unworthy because you're not getting the kind of traction that you think you deserve, don't worry about it, man. Keep fucking plugging away. I mean, the way I look at it too is the inception of this podcast, it's just growing slightly. Not huge growth, but you keep fucking doing it. And enough people will kind of latch on, and enough people will start thinking, okay, this is something that I get out of, and I'm gonna tune in whenever it's uploaded, and I feel good when this person releases something. So honestly, I would never ever tell you to hang it up. Now is not the time. If you got something on your mind, if you feel like starting up a podcast or starting up some kind of new project, fucking do it. And do it for yourself, because it's going to make you feel good, and fuck what anybody else thinks. Or it's, if nobody shows up to your brand new bakery on day one with you not passing out flyers, are you going to be shocked? So you got to kind of look at it that way. And to all my fellow musicians out there who kind of strive off of the live setting, I feel you. I feel you, brothers and sisters. I really do. It's really taken a hit for me. I know that my income, I could probably make this almost a full-time job if I could play shows. I'll put it that way. If I could play 1 or 2 gigs a week, because my expenses are very, very low, I don't pay rent anymore, I could probably do this full time. So I've got to try and, work around the kinks and work around some of the obstacles that this world is now kind of throwing at us. But overall, I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to give up. Sorry, one of my cameras just crapped out, but I'm still going to keep fucking going. I'm not going to give up, and neither should you. Know that there's a lot of people out there that you just haven't fucking reached yet, and they will support you the best they can. So that being said, folks, I hope this has shed a little bit of light on, the ins and outs of being a starving artist, what I make, which is next to fuck all, but I always invest it right back, whether it's in my lifestyle or into the craft itself. Because that's all I really have to live for. And I hope you got something out of this. I really do. And please, if you guys have some suggestions as well, because I know a lot of you guys are creative fucks, please let me know. It really sheds a light on what other people are doing, how they're tackling and dealing with today's society and today's norm. So please send me a message or leave a comment on the YouTube videos, because I think that's really the only spot you can leave comments. But I'd love to hear your stories, some of your tactics that you use to get through. So, once again, thank you so much. You will be getting another episode in the next week. I did want to talk about this. This was a kind of a big one for me. And being candid about my finances is always nerve-wracking, but I just want to be straight up with you, and once again, your support has been overwhelming. Thank you so much. So if you want to send me an email, you can shoot it over to lifewithjohnnynocash@gmail.com. If you want to go over to Instagram and give me a good old follow, that is johnnynocashofficial. And if you want to buy me a beer, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/johnnynnocash. But more importantly, if you want something like honestly, I would love to buy more merch, but I just don't have the fucking room. I'd prefer to donate personally. But if you do have the room, and if you got the closet space and you want a t-shirt or something like that, or a shot glass or some shit, you can always go over to johnnynocashofficial.bandcamp.com, and I've got a ton of merchandise over there as well as downloadable music that you can purchase. So thank you all so much, and please, if you guys are starving artists yourselves, let me know, and I will do my best to, at the very least, whether I can donate or share your work. I'd love to do that. This is a community of poor folks that are trying to make it work. Cheers to you all. A fucking stagger crawl, and you know it that I love you, and I'm out.